See? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and this is our Energy 101. And I'm very excited about this class. I get really excited to teach yoga, so a lot of you know me from yoga. And this, to me, is an extension of yoga. And what really we're practicing in yoga is kind of building up those energy boundaries every single practice. Every time we come, every time we take a breath, it kind of like, we hear the term like fill up your cup, right? So like literally fills up your cup with your own good energy. So this is what this class is all about. And of course, this is day one of the retreat. If anyone is doing the whole retreat with me, so we'll go over at the end a little bit more what the retreat is about, but really just this class in its own will be great. So I'm very excited that you're here. And since somebody else just hopped on, just so everybody knows, the recording is going on my phone. So if you do want to have your video on, nobody else will ever see it outside of this Zoom room. So the recording that I send out to everybody will just be my face. So, and then in the chat, if you ever have any questions, don't wait for me to ask questions. Just type them in if something is confusing, because I usually teach yoga and I talk about this stuff in my one-on-one sessions, but this is my first energy class. So if I say something that doesn't make sense, please tell me. And then I'll go over it in a way that does make a little bit more sense. So yeah, we're going to talk about energy boundaries. So welcome everybody. And before we really dive into anything, since this is the beginning of the whole retreat, and also even if you're just here for this class, intention to me is very important. So we're going to take a minute to do a super mini meditation all together, just to kind of get centered, get focused, and set our intention. So even if you're eating dinner, no problem. You can still meditate while you're eating, don't worry. But you can just start by taking a really deep breath in through your nose. And then open up your mouth, make a nice sigh, some kind of deep breath out. And then notice already if that drops your energy a little, not in a bad way, but just like brings it more towards that centered point. And then eyes open or closed, it doesn't matter. Take a moment to just feel how you're feeling. And if you're not used to sensing your energy, this is how we do it. We just start by feeling how our body feels. And we're not looking for anything specific. We're just checking in and saying, do I feel anxious, energetic? Do I feel really tired? Does my shoulder hurt? There is no right or wrong, just kind of notice. And the more we practice this, eventually we start to sense our energy field as well. And you'll be able to feel how open and expansive your field is, how great your boundaries are, or if your boundaries are super weak and just you're getting hit with everyone else's emotions all day long, you'll be able to sense that as well. So that's another reason we do this centering so often. And then take 2 more breaths just to feel how you feel. Notice where you are. Take a moment for yourself. And then setting an intention. So my intention for this is, of course, that you build up your energy boundaries in a strong, loving way. Not too strong, we'll talk about that, but just have a really good energy boundary by the time that you leave this class. But what is your own personal intention for this? What are you looking to get out of it? And then taking a moment for appreciation. We'll talk about gratitude a lot as well and how it has an effect on your energy field. But even now, if you can get into a moment of appreciation, I'm very appreciative that you're all here for this class. So very exciting. But whether it's being at this class or something else throughout today that you're appreciative for, feel into that. And when you really feel grateful, notice already, does it change how I feel? Can it change my energy a little bit? Does it change my mood? We'll dive deeper into that too. We're just noticing for now. And then one more really deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. And then whenever you're ready, slowly opening up your eyes. How are you guys feeling? You can type in the chat or you can just stay super zen. So a few of you I have yet to meet. So my name is Melissa, and I am an energy teacher and I suppose an energy healer, but really all the people heal themselves, right? We're just a space holder. So I'm an energy space holder. And I am very excited to teach this class, mostly because energy work has not come easy to me. So I used to see other energy healers or people who were skilled with energy work and think that they were born that way. Oh, yay. Yeah. Don't do the meditations if you're driving, but I'm excited that you're listening. So I'm very excited to share this because I came from a place where I didn't know how to feel my energy. I didn't understand any of it. I actually was raised in a way that I thought it was the devil's work. So it was a very new journey for me. And coming from a place where I didn't understand, sense, or even really believe in the energy work to a place where I feel it so easily now, and really just in the past couple years, gives me a lot of faith, I suppose, that it can be easy for everyone to learn. It can be a lot easier than we make it to seem. And so that's what this class really is about, making it easier to feel your energy and to set those boundaries. So yeah, that's me. So welcome. And we're just going to dive right in with what an energy boundary is. So if you already have your own definition of this, I'm kind of curious to know what you think it is. So even if you're on the replay, there'll be a spot for the comments below. You can always type in too, or if you're here, if you have an idea of what energy boundary is to you, I'm super open and I would love to hear it. But to me, it's a set point in your energy field for how much you truly value yourself. So we all feel somewhat confident throughout our day, but really where we're coming from in our subconscious beliefs is this really deep kind of hidden part of how much do we really, really value ourselves. And this is what allows our boundaries to remain strong and intact. So to me, an energy boundary is that set point in your energy field, whatever your vibration is at, of how much you really value yourself. And therefore, it automatically sets up this boundary of what you will and will not tolerate in your life. So if you start to think about people who, I was thinking about it with dogs too, people or dogs who are really insecure or need validation all the time from other people, and they just don't have a lot of self-worth or self-respect. They are like sponges for carrying other people's emotions and energies, right? Because they don't value themselves enough that they're seeking it from other places. Versus on the other side of that, if you have somebody who's really maybe a little too confident and kind of cocky, and they put off like that energy, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be around that person. And I thought of it for dogs too, because if you have a very overly confident dog, you automatically kind of know not to walk up to it because it might bite you. They just give off that energy. And so really it's similar for us in the sense that if we have a healthy value for ourselves, we just naturally won't tolerate somebody stealing our energy or draining us. Does this make sense so far? You can say yes or no. So what we're looking for then is that really healthy middle ground where we value ourselves, but we're open enough to receive things, and also we can not take on other people's problems, but hear other people's problems without absorbing their emotions. Because what often happens is we'll hear, whether it's a friend or maybe a client, or I don't know, you look in the neighbor's car and they're doing something that makes you feel bad for them or something, and we kind of take on that energy. And so we really need to get to a place to not hold that energy for ourselves. And so that's when that boundary comes in, when we have enough self-respect. And this isn't just on the conscious level of, well, I feel like I like myself, I respect myself, but we're talking about the subconscious beliefs here, where how do you really hold yourself, and how do you really view yourself? I just thought of the whole theme of the tree is about being enough. So when we get to a place where we really feel enough for everything, for our life, for our partners, for ourselves, most importantly, this gives you that natural boundary. Does this make any sense? We're going to go into it deeper, but I was looking at my notes. They're very messy. So I might pause every now and then while I try to figure out my writing. But really, what's most important with this is when people are talking to you about their problems, and as humans, we're meant to connect. It's a good thing. I'm not saying don't listen to people's problems and don't connect. However, when you are connecting with somebody, holding yourself in such a place that you can reflect back and just hold space for them without taking it on. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about the taking it on in a moment, but understanding too that since we are meant to connect a little bit, it's our nature, and we're not doing anything wrong by wanting to be tapped in with people. But if you look at kind of the way the internet has changed our society lately, and we're connecting so much with so many things, and we wake up and we look at Instagram and we read 10 of the same news articles that are a little bit, I call it doom scrolling. When you see the same thing over and over, and it's just so much going in our field that it starts to deplete and drain us, right? And so we need to, this comes back to that value again, even though we don't consciously think about it, it's so important that are we valuing ourselves enough to put down the 10 extra articles of doom scrolling? One article is good, get your information, and then see what other energy you can drop. So yeah, and I work a lot with, this makes a lot of sense to me. I struggle with the constant negativity with people, especially COVID. It is a lot, and it is all around. Yeah, it is hard to disconnect because it's all people talk about. So this is one of our last things. We'll go over this for sure, but this is when it has that boundary, and even getting to a place where you're comfortable enough being like, hey, I respect that you want to talk about this, but I just can't. Sometimes people send me articles and I text back and I say thank you, but I cannot read that. I cannot read that right now. It's too much. So, and yeah, the communication is big too. It is a lot. This is why I wanted to do this class, COVID especially, all of the doom scrolling. It's too much for us. It's bringing us down. So we're going to get our healthy boundaries in a place before we go, and we'll practice some things too. And even if you are taking notes and you want to work on the beliefs on yourself at home, some really good ones to have are, it's okay to hold my boundaries strong, because often when we're little kids, we're told you can't do that, that's not what you want to do, you have to do this. And so then as children, we're like, oh, I didn't know what was right for myself. And then as a 30-something, we're like, oh, I don't know what's right for myself, because it's the same thing playing on repeat. So just even telling yourself it's okay to hold my boundaries strong, and switching that belief, and we'll talk about how to switch it too on your own, can do massive wonders. And another one that's really good is, it's healthy for myself and others to keep my boundaries strong. Because often too we have that guilt, right? Especially if it's somebody in our family or a friend, where maybe we feel that we should be taking on a little bit of their pain, or we feel bad to tell them, no, I can't listen to that right now, or for whatever reason. So letting your brain understand that it's actually healthier for you and for them if you have your energy boundaries strong. And this isn't in a way, and I have it written down like electric fence type boundary, this isn't in a harsh boundary way that you want to push people away. It just will set up a nice healthy container. That way they actually might start to work a little more with their issues versus just pushing it over on somebody else. And then your energy stays a little more contained, I suppose. And then too, with that one, it's healthy for myself and others to keep my energy boundaries strong. I did that balance. I call them balances because it balances in your brain a long time ago, and it made a huge difference just in the way that I held myself and the way other people showed up around me, or the things that people would say to me. It was really good. But what was important for that one for me is I used to have that guilt of always feeling like I needed to take on other people's pains. Just as an empath, we just naturally start to take on things from other people. So I would feel like it was kind of my responsibility. And so then if you want to dive a little bit deeper into that, if you want any homework, you could go into what was it about me that makes me feel I'm responsible for their emotions. Why do I feel responsible for their pain? When again, it comes back oftentimes to childhood. Different things happen to us as we're kids, and we get these beliefs, and that's okay. But now's the time to change them. That's why we're here. But looking at, why do I feel responsible for their pain? You're just learning my life story. That was a big one for me. Okay, so this isn't going to be me just chatting the whole time. We're going to have breaks to practice different things. So we'll talk a little bit, then we'll practice clearing our energy, and we'll chat a little more, practice clearing a little more. So we are, Kayla, if you're driving, this one's not for you, but you can practice later. So the first one that I like to do all the time, and this is just a super, super simple way to reset. It doesn't fully clear your energy, but if you ever are in a high anxiety state or agitated, or somebody is just like talking, or giving you a million COVID articles back to back, or for whatever reason, you just need to reset your energy, this is really helpful. So if you want to practice now, or you can practice later, you can take your 2 middle fingers and put one right on your forehead. And we did this in one of my yoga classes, so if you were there, you might remember this. And the other middle finger you can't see, but it's going to go right on your belly button. And then you're going to slightly press in and up. And just that pressure of in and up, close your eyes or look down, and just wait a moment, and it should reset your energy in a way that it makes you take a deep breath, or a yawn, or something that helps relax and center your energy. And then once you're done, let me know how it goes. It's just a slight pressure in and up. Did it work? Cool. So you can do that throughout your day, or if you ever do presentations, or for whatever reason you need to center yourself a little more, or you're about to do a meditation or a yoga practice, or I don't know, new moon manifestation, whatever you want to do, it'll help recenter and calm, and it pulls a lot out of the crown chakra. A lot of times we live up in our thoughts where our energy's way up here. We'll talk about grounding too. And this little technique, just push in, pull up, will kind of drop you into the heart. So it's a calmer space to be in, which is really fun. So that's one way to kind of reset our energy. And then also curious, if you do have any ways you clear your energy, I kind of want to hear, so you can type it in. And I post about this all the time, so I feel kind of weird like reiterating again. But salt can be so great to clear your energy. And the nutrients, to be honest, I don't even know why it works so well, but I imagine something about the ocean salt. It's just a nature element. I'm not going to pretend to know, but I know that it works. So I use a really high quality sea salt as a scrub on the shower. And if you set an intention with it, that you're clearing off any energy cords. Whenever we do make a connection with somebody, we create this tiny little energetic cord, and this is what helps drain or pull or give energy. And so you're kind of clearing off all those cords, so you can set an intention to scrub them all off in the shower with your salt, and it works surprisingly well. The first time I learned that, I was like, this is not going to work, but okay. And I felt like a new human after I got out of the shower, and I was like, wow, that's fantastic. So I do that at least like once a week now, and every time I do it, I feel like a new human again. That's great. So I highly recommend salt scrubs. This will clear your energy field, similar to the way, maybe not as intense, but a Reiki session would if you get a good scrub in. Yeah. And then I have Reiki down next. Reiki is amazing to clear your energy, of course. And Psyche, we'll talk a little bit more about the beliefs later. And what's really cool about Reiki and Psyche, the energy work, is when we do have people giving us their emotional stuff, or even our thoughts, if they're meditation exercises, body scans, or mantras. Yes, yeah, those are so good. Yeah, it resets your energy. But when people are giving us their stuff, it just kind of stays stuck in our field. When I'll have a Reiki client, I start with a clearing, and sometimes it's pretty cluttery, and it's okay. Mine gets like that too. I gave myself some Reiki this morning. I had some clutter, and we just kind of cleared off, and these are ways to clear it off so that you feel lighter. Your thoughts are more your own versus your thoughts being cluttered up with other people's emotions and stuff. Does this make sense? Okay. I want to check, because this is another thing that once upon a time I was like, that's not possible. And now I know it's quite possible. Okay. And then sound therapy is really good too. What's really neat to me about music and sound therapy, and if you notice with a really good song that maybe it's a sad song and you start to feel a little bit sad, but it feels good to listen to it anyway, or maybe it's a really happy, energetic sound or whatever, your emotion will change based on what you're listening to. And this is because of the frequencies in the sound interfere with our energy field. So really good sound therapy lists, there's free ones all over YouTube and Spotify. You can look up chakra clearing music. Those are excellent to clear your field, and you can just lay and do nothing and turn the music up and just feel. Pretend you're in a Reiki session, and it'll help clear your energy as well. Yin Yoga, like Louise said, that's really good. Meditation, body scans, and then any kind of movement. If you're a runner, this can be good, or yoga, of course. And yeah, just a shower in general. You can tap into the water element. This will help clear your energy. But again, with the shower, it's really about our intention. And this is another thing where it comes back to belief of, do you believe that this will work? Well, then it will. And if you're like, oh, I don't know if this will really work, then it'll still work a little bit, but maybe not to the power that it's able to. And then it circles back to value. How much do you value your own power and your ability to do these things? So really, I could just be like, how much do we value ourselves, guys? This is our boundary. That's the whole thing. Class over. Just joking. Okay. And then the next one is on meditation. So we're going to do another little mini meditation where we practice. If you were in the 5-day meditation challenge and course, on the 5th day, we learned about the heart coherence, which is my favorite thing to practice. And I'm going like this because this is what our energy is going to do. We go, pull it up, push it out. And what's really lovely with this is we start to bring our energy and subtly push it out from our heart center, and this creates a natural boundary in a really, really healthy way that it's coming from love versus fear. A lot of times I see in Reiki clients that we'll have all these heart walls, myself included when I started, just put up these little barriers to keep everything out. But if we do that meditation where our heart is just naturally expanding, this helps keep anything bad out, but still allows in what's good. Okay, so we're going to practice another mini meditation, just like 3 minutes maybe. So get comfy in a seat. This is interactive, but in a relaxing way. Take a really deep breath in again through your nose. Open up your mouth, breathe out. And even this sigh, if you're familiar from the yoga classes, this sigh can help ground our energy. And the more and more we practice with feeling our energy, feeling grounded, the easier it becomes to get those boundaries up when we need them, or to just have it automatic. So pay attention to where your butt bones are. And if you're driving, we have one driver, don't do the whole meditation, but if you just want to be mindful about like where your hands are on the wheel, you can do that stuff too. But pay attention to where your butt bones are, and imagine there's a red line going from your tailbone all the way down into the earth. So we pick red. For me, this resembles the root chakra, and this helps ground down. And this is another one of those things, when the first time somebody told me to do this, I was like, okay, this is not going to do anything. And then the more I practiced it and the more I felt it, and now it almost tips me backwards if I'm not careful, because it grounds and roots so heavily. So you're feeling it will work, but you're noticing it will take time. So if you don't feel anything, no problem. But just imagine, what would it feel like if there was this red line of energy from my tailbone or my butt bones all the way down into the earth? So this is like a grounding anchor. And then take a breath in and imagine once you get past your hips, that red line changes to white or gold or purple or whatever color you want. All the colors are good colors. And connects all the way up above your head into the sky or clouds, depending on how you phrase it, universe, higher self. Maybe a guardian angel catches it for you, whatever you want. And can you feel your chest lift, your spine lengthen a little from this automatic natural lift? Take another deep breath in. Deep breath out. We re-ground down through the butt bones. So we're anchoring and grounding, and we're connecting our energy up to something higher. I call it the higher self. A version of you just hanging out and watching. Good. So we're connected on both sides. And now, take another breath in, lifting from the butt bones. So we have that red line of energy. We pull some energy up to the heart. Actually, let's pull it all the way up to the crown, top of your head. The energy goes up. Even if you're just imagining what would it feel like if I had energy go up to the top of my head. And on your breath out now, imagine that energy comes down just around your heart and expands out in every direction. And we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale from your butt bones, pulling energy from the ground up, all the way to the top of your head. And then your exhale lets that energy fall back down around your heart and expand outward in every single direction, even behind you. Do that 1 more time. Breath in. Breath out. It falls down around your heart and then pushes out. Good. And when you're ready, coming on back. How do you feel? Could you feel at all, even if you were just pretending, what it would feel like to have that energy come from your heart? Maybe a little. Okay. So this is our step 1. We are working, and it's so important to ground down and connect up. I was thinking about this the other day of how to explain it, and I thought about, because we don't necessarily want our energy going to the other person, and we'll talk about that a ton in the next energy class, but we'll touch on it today too, so that you know what I'm talking about, so you're just not shielding with your own energy, because that will drain you in a different way. But I thought about, if you were just using your own energy, it would be like you're holding the shield up all the time for your boundary, right? Like, you could do it, and it can be done. You can just push out your own energy to hold as a strong boundary, but this is more when we're getting into like that electric fence. It's a little bit too strong, and it's not stable forever. And if it were a real shield, your arm would get like so tired. It would be so exhausting. And so then I was like, oh, so it's kind of like a screen. And if you were just connected up to your higher self, you would be pulling that screen down. Like, the higher self holds it. I'm just trying to go on the camera, but my hand's way up there. But the higher self holds it, and this is your shield, and you'd be like, oh, thanks for this boundary for me, and you would be holding it down to the ground. But if you remain grounded throughout your day, it kind of like latches in. So you have this screen that you don't have to do anything with. You set it in the morning, and then you're good for the day, versus holding your own shield. So this grounding meditation where you just connect your butt bones down, feel into the earth, practice with it. Eventually you will feel into your energy shift a little bit, and then connecting up so that you hold yourself strong, knowing that you have a little bit of support for the boundary. Does that make sense? So the heart meditation is important so that we have that natural boundary from ourselves. However, we also want to stay connected up and down. That way it makes it so much easier to keep that. Otherwise, it'll be tiring holding up your shield all day long in all the directions. You never know where things are coming from. Never know what doom scroll will pop up in your Instagram. Yeah, so I liked the shield analogy. And the pillar, I haven't used the word pillar yet, but when we're grounding down through our butt bones and we're connecting up to that higher energy, and I use the word higher self, but the next time we do it, and if you're doing the retreat, there's a yin class in there where we practice this. It's really honestly Reiki, and every single human has the capacity to do Reiki, whether you're certified or not. You don't need the attunements. They definitely enhance your abilities, and they enhance your ability to feel the energy, but you don't need it. The Reiki is just the word for universal energy. It's there. So really what we're doing is we're tapping into that higher energy so that our boundary starts to come from that universal energy versus draining our own internal reserve. Does this make sense? So then as we're going through our day and we're interacting with all these other people and bad stuff does happen, we read a doom scroll, or we get in a fight, or maybe we get in a car accident, we're being screamed at even though we're not the one that hit the car. I don't know, whatever happens. Things do happen. So when we have that natural energy just protected for us, and we can tap into that higher energy to replenish our field, it will be amazing for your boundaries to clear your field and reset it for the next situation. Because life is full of situations. Okay, let's see where we are. Does it make sense so far? Remember, you can say no. Okay. Yeah. So I had written next about, I think we talked about this a little bit. The heart meditation is good so that we have a loving boundary versus that electric fence. And a lot of times I will see in Reiki clients, and again, it was myself as well, and sometimes still is, where we put up these walls because we've been hurt in the past. And so we don't want to get hurt again. And again, we're coming back to that childhood level of where we got our subconscious beliefs. And the subconscious beliefs, you know, we can know what's wrong with us on a conscious level and be like, oh, I remember that situation when I was 7 years old. But it doesn't really change the core belief unless we do the work to change it. So we could do it through a Psyche balance, or we'll go over a couple easy ways for, well, easy is relative, a couple ways that would work to change the beliefs for you. But really, if our heart has a boundary up so strong from a fear, that is something we should look at, because too strong boundaries aren't ideal either, because then we're not letting anything good in. We're blocking the people who would be great for us. We're blocking amazing opportunities from happening to us because we're just saying no to everything. So maybe our energy feels like it's contained, but we're separate a little bit more than maybe we want to be. So we don't really want that high wall. Yeah, it's a pendulum. I keep looking at my notes. So we could be too strong, or we have that person who their self-value might be too low, or even if they value themselves, they hold the belief that they're responsible for other people's emotions. Maybe when they were little, their mom would put all their stuff on them, from experience. And so we believe that we're responsible for somebody else's pain, and we believe our purpose is to help somebody else's pain. So we find that happy medium. Okay. Yeah. The more power we hold in ourselves, the easier it is to clear our own value. We're back to our self-value. How much are we really, truly deeply? I thought of that old song lyric. Forget the band. I'll tell you later. And it's really about how much do we subconsciously value ourselves. And so even just the affirmation, I value myself and I know I am valued by others, can be amazing for your subconscious brain. And what happens with the subconscious beliefs, we can think that all day long, I value myself, I am valued by others. And we might feel our energy shift while we're saying it, and that's great. But when we talked about the meaning of energy boundary in the set point of your energy field, that's different than our emotions. So we might feel happy and our vibration is high, and then sometimes we feel sad and our vibration feels a little bit lower. But the set point is really just your core vibration of what are your subconscious beliefs? What are you projecting out into the universe? As goofy as it sounds, we're projecting that out into the universe. And so subconsciously, if we don't really value ourselves on a deep level, we're going to be allowing other people to come and dump their stuff on us. And one of the reasons it works that way is because we have no value from ourselves. We think, I must find my value somewhere else. Maybe my value comes from taking on this from someone else. Maybe I can get some worth from taking from this other person. And again, you can be like the most happy, confident person, but it's about that core belief. So we always want to look at what are these core beliefs. It's important. Does it make sense so far? Any questions? I haven't paused for questions yet. I talk a lot more here than I do in yoga. I'm getting thirsty. In yoga, there's so many breaks. Okay. Ooh, here's another belief for you if you want to take down affirmations, and we'll definitely go over how to set these. I am powerful and capable of clearing my own field and keeping my heart open and loving. Actually, I would change that to wow. I am powerful and capable of clearing my field while keeping my heart open and loving. These are all the ones that I do for myself, and they help change my field. And so what this changes, it changes your set point vibration. I kind of just made up that word earlier today, but I think it is fitting because we have that vibration. And whenever we do go get Reiki, it'll raise a little bit. But then those situations come back and we're like, whoop, okay, well, now I'm back in the same place. And what's really cool about the Psyche or any kind of belief change is it changes your subconscious belief. So it changes your core value, and then your set point vibration raises. So we are in a higher place, and it's easier to hold that boundary. Because if you think about somebody who is just so self-assured, they naturally radiate that confidence, right? And so that's their natural boundary. And you wouldn't necessarily go up to them and pile all your questions on them. Your subconscious knows automatically that they're not in a place to take that on. You might be able to ask them like respectful questions, but it's just a different interaction. Do you know what I mean? What could it mean if you emotionally feel sad, depressed, anxious, but still have a core feeling of an uplifted, higher conscious energy? My initial thing with that is if you really truly have a core feeling of an uplifted, higher conscious energy. So do you mean a core feeling? Do you mean a core belief? I know you're driving, so maybe don't. If I get the answer wrong, I'm not sure, maybe. Okay, so my initial answer to that is if you feel sad, depressed, or anxious, but your core self is from a higher place, your core belief, your core belief is more stable, then either you are picking up someone else's sadness and anxiety, which is often you're an empath, and we just need to build a little bit for you. I would say that Reiki pillar in the heart meditation would be really good. Or if you are doing your own internal work, and we all have so much internal work to do, that maybe it's popping up to heal another part of you. Does this make sense? So you can get your set point higher, you can feel amazing, and then there'll be another layer that might come along in a year or 2 years or 3 years that might feel similar, but it's that part of you healing. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, okay, cool. Glad you're not driving anymore. Yay. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? No. Cool. All right. Oh, so we get to practice again now in our list what to do in Energy 101. We're going to practice another meditation real quick. And so this will be the same thing we just did. We're just repeating it so it gets ingrained in our body easier and easier. And we'll add on a step so that instead of just connecting to your higher self or handing it off to a guardian angel or whatever you pictured before, we're going to try to tap into that Reiki energy. And remember, you do not need an attunement for this. It's available to you all the time. It will be easier to feel the more attuned you are, but you can still build up that feeling, and I built up the feeling for it before I was any kind of attuned, so it is there. And we'll practice it in the Yin Yogas too in the retreat again and again so that you get more comfortable feeling it. So, all right, have a seat. This will be short, mini meditation. Take another really deep breath in through your nose. Open up your mouth, breathe out. Good. Now start with the red line again. I always personally like to ground down first because I used to connect up first, but then it would be too exciting and my energy would be like drifting off. So grounding is so important. Ground down first. Feel that red line from your tailbone or hips all the way down. And sometimes I picture it going all the way as if it were to hit the core of the earth and then bounce back up. And then when it does bounce back up, once you get to your hips, change the color either to gold or white or purple or whatever color you want, and then have it go kind of along your spine all the way up out of the crown of your head to connect up to whatever, I was going to say your version of universe, spirit, God, higher self, whatever is most comfortable for you to connect to. And then see if on a breath in, that'll naturally lift, lengthen through the heart, crown of your head. And already this can be a sign. If you're forcing your chest and your head up, it's a bit different. But if on the breath in, it naturally starts to lift, that can be a sign that energy is connected. You're never disconnected. We're here having a human experience, so that's your connection. But we can make that connection stronger, and we can make that communication stronger by practicing. Next time you breathe out, imagine again one more time that red line going all the way down to the center of the earth. You can just attach it to the grass, ground, however you want to picture is perfect. And then the breath in, all the way up through the spine, crown of your head, up to whatever your version of spirit is. And now imagine, use white, but still, use whatever color pops into your mind. And this really bright color of light, or just pure white, mine sparkles a little, I like the glitter, comes in through the crown of your head as if it's this pillar along your spine, in your whole spine. You don't need to reattach down to the earth or anything. Just see if you can feel, what would it feel like if there was an energy coming down from the crown of my head, past my shoulders, between my shoulder blades, all the way down to my lower back and my hips. And even if your brain is like, oh, I don't know if this is working, I don't know if I'm doing it right, it's fine. Just breathe and think, what if I could feel it? What would it feel like if? And this starts to allow your mind to look for it. What if you could feel it? What would it feel like? And so you're either still looking and feeling for whatever it would feel like if you had that connection all the way from the sky, spirit source, however you want to call it. It's pure white light, or maybe it's blue. Teal can be a really healing color. I see teal a lot. It's coming all the way down your spine to your hips. So you're either practicing feeling that, or you feel it. And now we try to expand it outwards. What if that pillar around your spine just got a little bit wider and wider and wider, so that it encompassed your entire body? How would that feel? Does it feel a little more expansive? And so this expansion then is your boundary, but it's not coming from your own energy. We're now tapping into that Reiki or universal energy to help us hold that boundary. So just sit and feel how it feels. See where you can feel the expansion. You might feel it around your legs, your chest, maybe everywhere, pretty even. There is no right or wrong. Just feel. And now in your mind, if you do feel that expansion, set the intention that that expansion stays and protects and holds your boundary for you. Take one more breath in and out. And then whenever you are ready, start to open your eyes. Come on back. How do you feel? Could you feel any of the expansion? Tingly, yay, good. Tingly's amazing. So this is a really fantastic way. I know life is busy and you might not have time to be like, let me meditate and set my boundary every morning. So again, this is when it comes back to how much are we valuing ourselves so that it's automatic. And the more we hold ourselves in that higher value and heal those core beliefs, then we don't necessarily need to do this. This is just like special effects, the extra protection and boundaries then. And especially if you do work with clients or you work one-on-one with people, or if you're alive, actually, it doesn't matter who you work with, just normal life can require us to need extra boundaries. And I think that comes back to how we're extra connected now, and we're just seeing so many things. And I actually want to talk about that too, on timing. If you can do a morning meditation, amazing. Like, so amazing to set your energy in the morning. Whatever we do first thing in the morning is going to carry us through most of the day. So if we wake up, and before we moved here, we lived kind of in a basement, and my bedroom was so dark. I would never wake up easily. And I would open my phone and think, this is terrible for me, but I would use the light on my phone to help me wake up because it was so difficult for me to wake up for a while. So I spent a couple months looking at Instagram very first thing in the morning, and it changes your attention span. It changes your boundaries. It changes your energy field a little bit. Not necessarily in that set point way, although long term it definitely can, but it will make us just wired for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing versus being able to focus. So if we don't look at our phone first thing in the morning, and maybe we stare into like our kids' eyes, or, you know, we're making them a waffle and we are paying attention to the waffle, or maybe you do meditate, or you pay attention to how each tooth feels as you brush it. Like, whatever you do that you give focus to in the morning will set up your day to be more focused and present. And the more focused and present we can be, this helps hold our container as well. Because if you think about, if we're focused on one thing at a time and we're really giving it our attention, this automatically starts to hold a container for us as well, versus if we wake up, we swipe through 30 people's Instagrams real quick, check a couple stories, read a doom scroll. Already our energy field is like 50 things we need to look at. And so this creates those 50 little cords again. Does that make sense? So doing that salt scrub, this is why I do it every week. I mean, we all pick up things, and it's not good or bad. It's just how it happens. So we come back to doing those things to clear our energy regularly. We set these boundaries regularly. And if you want to go a little deeper, we do the internal work of, how can I value myself more so that my natural aura, it's like Phoebe on Friends, picking out things in your aura, your natural aura just stays stronger. And a couple other tips to stay grounded as well throughout your day, so you don't always have to do the meditation, although it's great. I do it a couple times a week in that style. But you could just, I mean, not to promote my own yogas, but I'm posting yogas every Sunday now on YouTube, and these are really good at being embodied. I think the biggest thing I work at with my clients is, how can we be more embodied? How can we be more grounded? And a lot of people that come to me are curious about Reiki and getting into energy work, or they do energy work. And what's so exciting about that is it does uplift your energy a little bit. But it can lift it a little bit too much, to where it's more fun to be in the spirit realm and we're not embodied. So being in our body is so important. So practicing those yogas, or any yoga you like, anything where you can feel your body, anything where you can be super present. Again, it sounds not fun, but when you're brushing your teeth, can you pay attention to brushing your teeth? When you're eating, can you pay attention to every single flavor? And this sounds like it doesn't have anything to do with boundaries, but it does, because the more present we are in our life, then this holds our container strong, because we are not focused and draining our energy thinking about 30 different things that are stressing us out. The more we can be present, then the more we kind of detach from that stress. And this comes back to mindfulness and meditation. The more you can be in the moment, the more that stress just kind of dissipates. And if you do get into meditation, and we talk about this in the 5-day meditation course a lot, but I'll go over it really quickly here, where when you do start to quiet down, if you have 1,000 thoughts that pop up, this is the stress leaving your body. I just want to touch on that really quickly. So if you're like, oh, I can't get my mind quiet, I can't focus, that's okay. It's part of the process of getting to that centered place. We have to remove all the extra stress. And so that's when maybe doing a Reiki or doing a couple balances or whatever you need to rest can really help. Does that make sense? Presence, yeah. Started talking about that before even, yeah. And then gratitude. This is, so if you are an Instagram scroller in the morning, I once was myself as well. It's great. I like to see what everybody's doing. I love Instagram. I'm on it a lot. But I don't go on it in the morning, and I don't go on it right before bed, because what you're doing right before you fall asleep and right when you wake up, this long term will help change your set point of energy. So if you're scrolling, in particular doom scrolling or reading terrible articles, this lets your brain know the world is horrible, and so we must prepare. And it starts to put your body in a chronic fight or flight. So if you can, my biggest tip for like everybody anywhere is if you can get a little bit of a gratitude practice, particularly in the morning and right before bed. Like, not just I got up with the kids, it's an hour later, I'm going to do my gratitude. That's great. It's better than not. But the moment you wake up, thinking and feeling something that you're grateful for. And then as you're falling asleep, making a list of things that you are grateful for. And not just like water, air, okay, my job, I'm done. But like, can you really feel into it? Can you feel and change your vibration that way? And what's really cool about morning and night is we're in our theta brainwave. Christy, what if your IG scrolling is more about the positive affirmation posts and good things? I think that is fantastic. If it's first thing in the morning, though, I still am leaning towards not doing it, only because each individual post you see is going to set your brain up to still be distracted and be connected to each different thing. Does that make sense? Where you're still scattering your energy? But what you want to, if you want to look at something positive, what I'll do sometimes is I'll watch like a 15-minute YouTube or something where it's just one thing. I don't have to continuously scroll or listen to a podcast or listen to something positive versus the change. So yeah, I definitely think looking at positive stuff in the morning is good. Just be careful with how many different things are you seeing at once. But it is really helpful in the morning and before bed, because this is when we get into, and very most exciting part of the class, how to program our brain. So we're going to talk about brain waves real quick. We have our high beta, which is stress ball. We all live here a lot. We're stressed because the world is stressed. And below high beta is regular beta. This is when we're just like happy, focused, studying, thinking, learning. Beta is a great place to be. It's very productive. High beta, not so much. It's great if we're being chased by like a lion or that dog that's overconfident. High beta is excellent. It will get us out of the situation. Below beta, we have alpha, which is creative and intuitive. And this is where artists shine. This is where writers really come alive. If you're gardening, if you're doing anything you love, you're in alpha brainwave. It's more relaxing. It's enjoyable. We get ideas. It's cool. Below that is our theta wave. This is meditation. And this is also right when we wake up and right as we're going to sleep. And what's cool about the theta brainwave state is that this is when your brain is actually programmable for new things. So if you're looking at doom scrolling late at night or early in the morning, you're programming your brain again and again, be stressed, be stressed, be stressed. If you're looking at positive things, that's amazing, but it focused. I already touched on that, but staying on one thing is really good. But then that gratitude list, this is really, really important to think about things that you personally have in your life to be grateful for. What this does is start to change your set point of your vibration, because you're programming in to your subconscious mind all the things that are valuable in your life, all the things that you have to value and be grateful for. And this changes that deeper vibration of your soul. maybe your soul, I don't know, but it will change how you show up in the world for sure. Does that make sense? So gratitude. And so all of those affirmations we touched on, those beliefs, one of the ways you can do it, and I wouldn't go through all of them at once, it's going to kind of overwhelm your subconscious brain, but if you just get one belief statement for a month and say it every morning as soon as you wake up, say it before you go to bed, about 30 days later or so, it will change in your subconscious belief, which is super cool. You can start to reprogram your beliefs all on your own, and all it takes is like 2 minutes a day, which is super handy. Another really cool way to do it, well, it's not very cool, but it is cool, but it doesn't feel cool in the beginning, is you can say your affirmation out loud to yourself, but looking in your eyes in the mirror. And so what this does is it makes it very uncomfortable and very vulnerable. And it might not sound like it's that intense, but if you're just staring in your mirror by yourself, like looking into your own eyeballs and saying out loud this affirmation, like, I value myself and I know others value me, it gets uncomfortable. But what's productive is that it moves you through the discomfort, and you do it over and over again every day. And then the emotional response starts to shift because you've done it again and again, and you get familiar with it, and then it's familiar to your subconscious mind. So that's a really good way to program them on your own as well. Same thing, it takes about a month. So that's excellent if you want to start programming in any of these things, such as, I don't even know where they went, but about your boundaries. It's okay to hold my boundaries strong. It's healthy for myself and others to keep my boundaries strong. As we come back to that cup, we can't give out if our own cup is empty. And in particular with that one, it's healthy for myself and others to keep my energy boundaries strong. That comes back to that guilt. If you do have any guilt that you feel responsible, another thing you can do is start to look at, what is it about me that makes me feel responsible for their issues? You can be there for them, but you didn't need to hold their pain for them. I learned that the difficult way. I had migraines for like a year. It was terrible. But now my boundaries are different. My self-value went up and held my values better. And then it let them heal their own stuff because they didn't have anywhere to offload it. So it's good for both parties. So yeah, feel the gratitude. And any questions? We're nearly done. I've had you guys here for a while, so thank you for your time. But do you have any questions before we... And in a situation too, when we talked about, you know, if somebody keeps talking about the same topic like COVID or something that you don't want to give your time or energy to, if it is difficult for you to say no to that, that's another thing you can look about. And when I say look about, I mean like journal it out, be like, what is it about me? That's what I do. What is it about me? And look at, why is it difficult for you to communicate? Is that another thing where maybe some point in your childhood, a parent or you heard somewhere that children are meant to be seen but not heard, or you were told to be quiet, or, you know, maybe you were doing show and tell and some kid thought your toy was dumb. All of these things, seemingly insignificant, can imprint in us that our voice doesn't deserve to be heard, or something along the lines of you speaking up is not valuable. Not to come back to value again, but it's all about our value. So investigate. If something comes up and it's difficult for you to say no to it, then start to look at, why was that hard for me to say no? What is it about me, and how can I change that? See what comes up. And so we'll be going into this in the retreat as well. If you're doing the whole retreat, we're gonna each have 5 sessions where we change all the beliefs just quickly. That's why I like the Psyche. It just does it immediately. So you don't have to sit in the mirror for a month. I did the mirror one. It does work, but it was uncomfortable for like 2 weeks. And so now I change them easier. And yeah, so moving forward, thinking about what affirmations you want to do, whether you program them in yourself, to let yourself know it's okay to hold your boundaries. Tapping into that Reiki energy, feeling it more and more, and the heart meditation, so that you naturally just whatever that word is, have radiance. And then if you're doing the retreat or any yin class that you find, there's some yin classes up in the retreat, but when you're doing yin, allow yourself to just be and to just feel. In particular, if you are working with your boundaries and setting the intention for whatever is preventing me from being able to hold strong boundaries, I'm looking to let go of in yoga. So we can set our intention for different things. And if you do have emotions that come up, it's super important to feel them and to let yourself cry or relax or laugh, or if you feel numb, whatever you're feeling is okay, but just feel it. Because acknowledging that whatever you're feeling is okay is the first step to healing all this other stuff. It's letting your body say, okay, I'm okay to feel this. So then the things that are hidden are like, okay, maybe she wants to look at this now. Right? So the reason I even got into the stored emotion work is through massage. I would have people come see me over and over again for like the same pains and just kept coming back. And really a lot of them are stored emotions. What are we stuffing down that we don't want to feel? And so it's manifesting in our body somewhere, trying to get our attention. It's a whole nother story. So yeah, be present, feel, and really again and again start to tap into that pillar of energy so that that holds your shield for you. And the more you can expand it out, it's like getting that hook from the universe down to your grounding, and that holds your energy boundary strong for you so that you don't necessarily need to hold your own little mini shield up. Does that make sense? This was so good. Will we all be able to see the recording too? Yes, you can definitely write things down. Our internet is very slow. I'm on my phone hotspot. We're working out internet issues right now, so it might be a day or two before it's uploaded, but I'll email you the recording. I think I'm going to make it a private YouTube link for the people that registered, and then it'll be up in the retreat forever too. So if you are doing the retreat, you'll have it for forever, but you'll definitely get the recording via email in a couple days, as soon as our internet allows. Okay. Yeah, so let me just read real quick. Have a water break, guys. My last paragraph. We're nearly done. Here's some more statements for you. It's all about the beliefs. All I do all day long is all the belief works. It's such a big difference though. So the last thing I wrote down about this was to feel and be present. Just keep being present, because the more you feel whatever you're feeling, the easier it is to feel that Reiki line, whether you're attuned to Reiki or not. I promise you don't need to be to start to send that out. And then it really comes back to that self-worth. How much do you value yourself, really value yourself, to keep that set point higher? And then that'll naturally create your boundary. And that brings you to your self-trust as well. And then your intuition starts to flow as well, which again is a whole nother story. And the next class we're doing is in 11 days, and that'll be all on intuitive development too. So if you are doing the retreat, we're really getting our boundary strong. We're getting that energy connection now, so that 11 days from now, when we start to tap into our intuition, it just starts clicking really easily, so that we can get all those downloads. We can learn how to guide our lives in a better way based on, really, you can call it your soul, you can call it your heart, whatever you want to call your inner guidance and intuition. So, which is fun. It's what made me do this class. I had an intuitive download that I should do this class, and I said, okay, let's do this class then. And here we are. So here are the statements. I think that's what I started with. I am worthy. I am valuable. I am enough, and it's safe to set a boundary. If you do any belief balances, I am worthy. I am valuable. I am enough, and it's safe for me to set a boundary. Because often we don't feel safe, right? So it is safe. It is safe and okay. Those are good groundwork ones if you are diving into your own stuff. How are you guys feeling? Does anybody have any questions? Do you feel like you have a better understanding of how to hold your own energy boundaries? Take that as no questions. All right. Oh, good. It's not good that you needed it, but I'm glad that it was valuable. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, just keep practicing, keep diving into the self-value stuff. If you are doing the retreat, or even if you're just doing a one-on-one, we can set those beliefs for you so that you learn to value quite easily. But that's pretty much all I have for you. Keep holding your energy boundaries strong, and let me know if you have any questions or anything comes up, and I am here. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, and if you're doing the retreat, I will talk to you super soon to set your sessions, and you should have access to the Yin Yogas right now. So you can go do Yin Yoga right now if you want to, and then I'll see you in 11 days for Intuitive Wisdom, which will be really fun. So thank you for joining, guys. You're welcome.